happens to be the very first class we are having on course, ECE225, and we are going to be talking about education and the society. It has been said, let's get straight into it. So, we have EC, alright, we have ECE 2, alright, 255, 255. I want to talk about education and the society. Now, these are two different terms. I want to dissect each um, separately. Then we can talk about the relationship between both and how they can be applicable together, or how they can be applied as a whole. Now, I think I need to reduce the backlight a little bit. It's kind of too bright. Yeah, I think it's better now. I think from my end, I can see from my okay, that was the thing from the network. I think we are good now, so we can commence the class. Now, as I was saying, we are going to dissect this separately. Then we will talk about, all right, how we can apply both as one. Now, let's talk about what we have here first is the concept of the society. The concept of the society. The concept of the society. Speaking of which, broadly speaking, when we say the society, what are we talking about? Broadly speaking, the society is a totality framework, okay? The totality framework in which human beings engage in social interaction, okay? Totality framework, okay? Human beings engaging in what? Social interaction, okay? In the totality, where we have human beings engaging in what we call social interaction. From another sense, let's look at it from another sense. It is regarded as a social environment. It is seen as a social environment. And this environment comprises, okay? This environment comprises of certain things. Things like, all right, comprises the aggregate of people as they influence and shape. They, all right, as they influence and shape individuals and groups behavior. All right, in whether it's influencing or shaping, okay, individuals behavior. This is, as a matter of fact, as a result of interactions by people regularly. Okay, there's a way there's a way human beings interact. You get used to doing something, get used to talking to this set of people, you get used to doing certain things, certain ways, then it becomes a pattern, it becomes a norm. Anybody that does something outside that person is kept separate, excommunicated, excommunicanto. All right. So it can be seen in this sense. It says here, it's regarded as a social environment. This environment, it is generally agreed upon on how you should behave. If you behave outside this generally agreed upon behavior, you will be separated. All right. Separation can mean maybe you are left in a room that we call prison. All right. You are isolated, alone, to break you, that you can conform to the standard of the society or the community or the whatever. Okay, that is another sense. A social environment comprising, so we have social environment, and this social environment, it comprises, okay, this social environment comprises, are we together, comprises the aggregate of people as they influence each other's behavior. Of people influencing behaviors. So just permit me to abbreviate so that we don't get to use so much space. Now let's continue. Now it can also be regarded as both, society can be seen as both micro and macro. Okay, it can be regarded as both the micro and the macro units to which a child is born. Okay, there are interactions within a given society across societies. Even in a society, we still have sets. All right, look at what he said there. He said there are interactions within a given society and across societies. Interactions within, okay, interactions within a given society and across society. A given society and across, okay, a given society and across societies. So we have that as that. And I made mention of this earlier. I said it can be seen as a micro or macro unit into, all right, a micro or macro unit which a child is born. Micro or macro unit which a child is born. Now let's take a step forward and let's proceed. Now we have dynamics of society. Dynamics, when we say dynamics, we're simply talking about flexibility, we're simply talking about changes, regular changes, and that occurs. This refers to dynamics of the society. Okay, according to what we have here, society has structures. Okay, society has structures. There are beliefs. Okay, there are beliefs. There are structures. Okay, there are structures. There are beliefs, practices, government, and languages, and all these things change from time to time. It changes from time to time. Okay, so all this changes from time to time. They believe. Okay, that was the thing from the network. I think we are live and we are good to go. Now, just like as I was explaining, the dynamics, the dynamics of society. Under this we have, society changes from time to time. If it's not the government policy, all right, it's some new set of group coming into the society, coming from a different background, all right, coming from a different style of life and everything, and beliefs, practices, all these things changes from time to time. So enough on the society. Now let's talk about education. Education. Speaking of which, when we say education, what are we talking about? Okay, education. Now, education can be seen as a process, and this process is the process of learning targeted, aimed at what? Equipping people with knowledge, okay, and skills. Look at it. It says it's a process. First, it's a process, and this process is geared. This process is geared towards, okay, learning, learning what exactly? Okay, not just learning, but equipping as well. Learning and equipping. Okay, learning and equipping people. Okay, learning and equipping people with what? With what we call knowledge and skills. With knowledge and skills. So we have that as that. Now let's continue. We have, as you can see, please do well to observe the point. Okay, do well to observe the point here. Now, education is a component which no, all right, misfortune can depress, no crime can destroy, no enemy can eliminate. I love that. Okay, it is seen as a component which no crime can destroy, no enemy can eliminate. Yes, because everything you need to do, everything you do, you need to get knowledgeable about it. Anything that requires you being knowledgeable, anything that goes through that, observe that process of learning what you don't know and what you now know, anything that takes you through that channel is called education. And with such a kind of definition, by now you must have known that education is not limited to the four walls of a classroom or a university. Education, just like it said here, that it is a what? A component. And this component cannot be destroyed by crime. It cannot be destroyed by crime. It cannot be eliminated. Says no enemy. Enemy can eliminate. No enemy can eliminate, and no misfortune can depress. No misfortune can what? Depress. Yes, thank you for that. Education in solitude is a solace. and in society and ornaments. Okay, in solitude, set aside, it's a solace. Then in the society, is on an ornament. Okay, so education is way beyond what you learn in the classroom. It goes beyond that, far, okay, beyond, far beyond that. So now we have, when we talk about ornaments, we're talking about that thing that adds beauty, okay, that thing that adds beauty, all right, a decoration, okay, something that beautifies. So you see that it's not just for the learning purpose. It's not just for for you to just know and that is it. It goes beyond that. It beautifies you when you are knowledgeable about a thing. When you are good at what you do, it beautifies you. It makes you better. It makes you all right outstanding. So we have that as that. It says here that without education, man is what? A splendid slave and reasoning savage, not more than slave and savage. I'm not sure we can do without education, because even in the primitive era, men learned how to survive. And education is not just between human beings alone, it's beyond that. Men, even animals, learn how to hunt. Have you ever watched, if you watch Nigel Wild, this animal station on DSTV, you realize that animals, let's use lion for example, they don't attack the strongest. All right, they don't attack, they don't focus their prey are never the strongest ones. They look out, they take out their time to look for the weakest one or the young ones, the one that they easy targets. We call them easy targets. That's what the targets. Who taught them that? They have to learn that. Okay, so learning is living. Okay, learning, you are alive because you are learning. Learning is living. Okay, just like what it says here. It says man is what? Is a splendid slave and reasoning savage without education. So we have that as that. Let's continue. The simple truth is that education empowers. Okay, it empowers. It empowers. It what? Refines. It empowers. It refines. Civilizes. Enlightens. Enriches. Okay? It gives confidence to the newborn in the environment. Okay? And lots more. So we have that as well. So now let's talk about the relationship between education and society. So now let's take it from this angle. The role of education in the society. From our conversation so far, you must have gotten that already. But let's just do well to steal. Okay, let's do well to highlight. Let's just talk about some of the roles. Okay. So we have that as that. Now, let's check some of the roles. In identifying the roles of education in the society, it is important to observe that there exist two types of education. Okay? The traditional education and the formal education. The traditional education, we have two types in society. We have the trad and the formal. Traditional education and the formal education. Okay, Now, this traditional education is family based. All right, your mother, your father, your cousins, your sisters, it's family based. Then the formal education, all right, is structured, okay, mostly within the school premises. All right, structured. So we have that as that. Now let's continue. Now the two principal roles of education are passing on knowledge from one generation to another. First, providing people with skills that enables them to analyze, diagnose, and thus question. Okay, two principal purpose: from generation to generation, pass down, all right, knowledge, and also to survive. I would say to survive because it says here providing people with skills that enable them to analyze, problem solving skill. All right, when you solve problem you get to survive. All right, so we have that as that. So now we're going to talk about, in our next class, we're going to talk about the early childhood in perspective. Okay, early childhood in perspective. So I'm just going to highlight that so we can take that up from our next class. Okay, so thank you very much, everyone. I believe you have been able to gain a thing or two into this class. Please let's do well to submit our notes to the appropriate course and look forward to seeing all the subsequent tutorials. Do have a wonderful evening. Bye.